Welcome back to the Resistance Broadcast, everybody. I'm John Hoey. Thank you so much for joining us today on this beautiful Thursday. I don't know if it's beautiful where you are, but it's beautiful in Star Wars land, galaxy, fan, Twitterverse, wherever you are, because there's a lot going on with Episode 9. As you heard, well, hopefully you heard on our discussion on Monday, we broke a lot of information to you from our friend Clayton Sandell from ABC News regarding Carrie Fisher in Episode 9. If you haven't heard that yet, go back and listen to that before or after you listen to this. We have a big show again for you today where we're going to dive more into the casting news and all the stuff about Episode 9 and filming going on. And doing that with me, as always, is James Bainey and Lacey Gillerin. What's going on, guys?
Not much going on other than everything you just said. You know, we got some news that happened basically last week, but we're going to catch up on it this week. And I'm excited to talk about that news because it's fun and it's exciting to know that, you know, Episode 9 is on the way.
Yeah, I mean, Clayton had so much to say. That was kind of crazy. So, two things. One, I'm kind of still upset that he was for the death of Kylo Ren. He is going in the pile. Just joking. Two, we didn't get to talk about this. John Boyega is jacked, guys. Did anybody see that clip?
He's getting buff. He's working out. He's got to
Star
beat
Wars
that first
Jim.
order.
He is jacked. And that's it.
There's
that's
probably
all
going to be some kind of part in Episode 9 where BB-8 gets dented and can't roll around, and Finn has to, like, carry him around.
Yeah.
Maybe Finn will be shirtless in Episode 9. That is the new mission. Guys.
How about Finn carrying BB-8 in, like, a backpack, kind of like how Chewie had to carry C-3PO?
Oh, that's kind of funny. But he's not shirtless.
That'd be kind of adorable.
Unless he is shirtless carrying BB-8. Double up.
Or
can
you
you
just don't worry about shirts?
Yeah.
There's so much more to you than that, Lacey. Come on.
Yeah, I can't imagine spending like
He's just
every
so
episode
jacked.
talking about shirtless Rey or something. Like, it's just so ridiculous.
We can't do that, man. We can't do that. But what we can do, guys, is get into these poll results because we have news to dive into too. So we asked everyone out there, do you want Force Ghost Anakin Skywalker to appear in Star Wars Episode 9? And 79% said yes, bring back Hayden, and only 21% said no, his ending was perfect in Return of the Jedi. Now I always say this, but this really did surprise me because I voted a hard no on this because I truly believe Anakin ended his journey with peace and he was finished after Return of the Jedi. Bringing him back would hurt that ending to me. What do you guys think?
I voted no, and what was interesting is when I voted no, it was winning by a lot. And I thought, yeah, obviously. So when the final results came in, it's like, hey, you participated in a poll and 79% of people disagree with you. I was like, what?
James was like, typical.
Yeah. What is funny, though, is that it kind of mirrors what we did last week with, do you guys want to see a movie with Darth Vader? And it was like an astounding, yes, bring him back. Do you want to see Hayden show up again? Yes, bring him back. So it's almost like we should have known, but all right, let's see. I don't know. What do you think, Lacey?
So it's funny because we did this a while ago. I'm pretty, okay. So I don't want him to come back. And I've said this numerous times on the show that I don't want him to come back. However,
so we all voted no, right?
But here, I think I voted yes because right before that, someone had posted footage of Hayden Christensen saying how he wanted to come back. That was very recent, him being interviewed. So I was swayed mentally because I was like, oh, well, he wants to come back. Oh, he's so cute. He's smiling. He's excited. Yes. Even though I know in my heart of hearts that I don't want him to come back.
Why wouldn't he come back to Star Wars? I mean, he just did like a direct to Netflix ripoff, like
I don't think he's
Pizza
worried
Italia
about it.
movie, like
Pizza My Heart? Yeah, I definitely want to see that movie.
like Hayden Christensen's gonna be like, nah, I'm good, Disney. I don't need that paycheck. Like, of course he's gonna say he'd come back.
I think it all comes back to, I mean, there's been all sorts of recent things about like how the internet and how fans treat certain characters. And it could be a risk, you know, with Hayden Christensen returning to try to reprise a role which he'd got nothing but hate for. So,
bring back Jar Jar. That's what I want first.
You underestimate my power again.
Again.
So I think this comment really encompassed what a lot of fans feel like, and it was by White Wolf at, how do we pronounce this, James? Behemoth.
Yeah.
And they said, I'd love it. I honestly don't think it's an absolute necessity, but if he's in the movie, I'll be so happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
So
White Wolf.
Very.
That's like what's it, the Star Wars, or the not Star Wars, South Park meme where he's like, if he comes back, I would be so happy.
Yeah. All right, so memes aside, James, actually there's one meme I want to bring up to you. I saw on Instagram. And it was Ki Adi Mundi talking to Anakin, little Anakin Skywalker. Did I pronounce that wrong? I don't care. People leave in the comments that I got it wrong.
No, Anakin Skywalker. That's how you say it.
Oh, okay, good. And he says, your thoughts dwell on your mother. And Anakin says, my thoughts dwell on your mother. And I laughed out loud because you always like resort to that your mama. Like,
oh, yeah.
That's like your go-to. So I thought you would get a kick out of that meme because that's what it was. It was a meme.
It's like my shtick. It's like a creative thing that I came up with. Like when people say things, I just like flip it back on them and I say, your mom does that thing, which is
right.
It's
you'd be a big hit in improv classes.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Like Michael Scott, he's always an FBI agent with like a gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So enough memes. Let's get into some news because we could have talked about this on Monday, but we had Clayton on and we had to break obviously all that news about Carrie Fisher and them using the Last Jedi footage and that there's going to be some big surprises, and it really opened the door of what Carrie can be. But let's use that information, incorporate it into what we're going to get into now, which is all the stuff James is going to bring to us in the Resistance Report. What's going on this week, man?
It's the Resistance.
So last week started the filming of episode 9, which is huge news. That was August 1st that happened. JJ took to his, as you put it, previously dormant Twitter account to tease us with Chewie, Finn, and what appears to be Rey. I think we're leaning on Rey on this one, in the Falcon cockpit as the first day began to wrap. Now, we also got a couple other tweets from like Vic Mahoney, who's the second unit director, who who was announced back in April. And it appears that, she's taken images of where she is currently, and we've seen, some other screenshots of what the outside of the Cardington airship sheds look like. So it's plausible, if you want to put on the tinfoil hat a little bit, that it might start shooting at the Cardington airship sheds. Along with her tweets, there's all sorts of other tweets from everybody else. John Boyega, Mark Hamill, Anthony Daniels. They're all super excited to get back into this, saying things about how excited they are for the movie to get started, and a lot of things about Carrie as well. Lacey, let's get back to that picture that JJ released. It was a really cool picture. I think most people just saw like a giant robot like at first, and they're like, what am I even looking at? Like some sort of green robot from the Matrix or something. But as we start to look a little bit closer, we can see that it's a camera pointing at a blurry picture, lots of bokeh going on.
A Gaussian
barely
blur.
See, yeah, Gaussian blur. Yeah, exactly. That's a Photoshop kind of joke there. But you have a different stance on who you think we're looking at. So you say Chewie, Finn, and...
So the thing is like Rey... So first of all, picture's really cool. It's done at like a kind of like a Dutch angle, not really. Yeah. So you had a lot of people that were kind of putting the orientation more up and down, straight. I thought the first thing that jumped out to me was the camera has episode 7 and then episode 9 on it.
Yes.
Which was really cool because obviously he's coming back for episode 9.
It feels like it's JJ's personal camera almost.
I think so. I mean? Yeah. No, definitely. It was really cool. I was actually hoping it had a logo on it like Space Bear. You know what I mean? Like something that we were like, that's the production logo.
Well, Black Diamond or something, wasn't it?
Well, rumors are that it's Trixie now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Trixie. Yep.
Yeah.
So if it's at Avco, like for the Force Awakens or something, that would have been cool.
Yeah. So from what I see Chewie, I see clearly Finn. That is definitely Finn. Boyega basically was like, "That's me." He's wearing a cool vest. What?
New vest or jacket? What do you think that is?
It's definitely so it looks like a new vest, but then the funny thing is he actually put up on Instagram a screenshot of Han Solo's original jacket going up for auction. That's the same kind of pocket structure as the jacket vest that Boyega is wearing. And then Boyega said, he said it in the clip. He was like, funny that this is happening on the same day. And so it was one of those things that I was like, well, are they trying to do a throwback? Which they might be. They might be trying to say, like, maybe he had that jacket on the Millennium Falcon and he ripped the sleeves off. Like, I don't know, whatever.
And that's the Empire Strikes Back jacket that they took off Han when they started torturing him on Cloud City.
Yeah, so maybe it's on the ship again.
I just thought it was funny that, like, it's a very well-known thing, or like an awkward thing, that Lando took Han Solo's clothes when he piloted the Falcon. So to think
he did wear his clothes.
To think that Finn would be on the Falcon wearing this vest, it's like maybe they're Han Solo's clothes that he found on the ship, and that's a joke or a reference to how Lando found some clothes on the ship.
Yeah, I mean, in Solo, Lando goes through the closet and pulls out the whole disguise and everything that you see in the Return of the Jedi. So it kind of makes sense that they have all this stuff. And then in Force Awakens, Han Solo's going through that closet, pulling weapons out and all this stuff. So yeah, it's possible that the jacket's in there. And then the person sitting down, a lot of people thought immediately it was Rey. They were like, it's definitely Rey. It looks like she has maybe a side braid. Her hair's longer. It could be her. Someone said that maybe there's a porg in the picture. I don't know if that's true. But the person that they think is Rey, I totally understand that it could be Rey. I get it. But I've seen Daisy in person, and she's super strong, but she's still super small. And it just seemed like that person was a little big to be Rey. But I mean, it could be, it couldn't be. I don't want to say yes or no, because the picture will come out months from now and everyone will be like, Lacey, you're wrong. But maybe it could be
There's no clearly it's Rey. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
So it could be Poe. And then someone also had a good thought that it could be JJ sitting in the chair, showing him how he wants the shot done.
The only thing about that, though, is JJ doesn't seem like the ego type, and I don't know if he would throw himself in a picture of him launching day one. That doesn't sound... I don't know JJ personally, obviously, but it doesn't seem like something he would do.
Maybe he didn't take the photo.
But he posted it.
Yeah, because maybe that's the only picture that they had that, like, didn't give anything away.
Oh, come on.
We
had one picture from day one of filming. We got to tweet that one out.
I don't know.
I think that it implies that he took the
Poe.
photo. Yeah.
You think it's Poe, Lacey?
Yeah, because Poe has a similar shirt on at the end of Last Jedi. It's like that white shirt.
You maybe like because I've seen Daisy Ridley in person too, and I mean whatever you want to say, she is tiny, skinny, tiny, and you're right about that. And also the one thing that steered me to Finn and Rey is the whole thing at the event you put on AwesomeCon, where he revealed that we're back, the gang's back together, me and you were back together, being Daisy and John Boyega. So immediately I thought those two on the Falcon, that brings us back to the Force Awakens. I can see them being together, and it's in the captain's chair, and that's been her chair since Han died. So those things took my brain there, and maybe this is JJ doing his classic misdirection, and maybe we're just overthinking it because we're excited that there's the first shot from the photo of the set of Episode 9.
I love that we've only had this and people are analyzing it like, who could this be? Does she have a side braid? What is going on? What's happening?
But you know what's good though? No one's been a dick about it. Everyone's been nice to each other and been like, yeah, it could be that. Yeah. But again, it's day one. So.
Yeah. I'm definitely on the Rey train, I think. And the only thing that leans me towards it not being her is that we clearly see John Boyega in a different outfit. And I think that it would be really cool to put Rey in a very like distinct new outfit, like maybe like an all black kind of thing, to kind of hint at the like, or kind of seem like the Luke in Return of the Jedi, like wearing
that's
the
the other thing. I can't see them putting her in a white shirt.
Yeah, well, she looks like, I mean, first and foremost,
her Jedi garb now.
I know she's in a different outfit from Force Awakens than she is in Last Jedi, but they're similar. They're similar outfits.
But they get darker. She gets darker in clothing.
Yeah, a little
Not
bit.
anymore.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But anyway, it looks like her Force Awakens outfit And I'm like, well, she's not going back to that. They're not going to put her in those clothes. So when I see that picture, I go, yeah, that's Rey. But then I'm like, yeah, but it's Rey from Force Awakens outfit. That doesn't make any sense. So maybe it's not. Maybe it's somebody else. So I don't know.
I'm just happy to like stalwart, just seeing Chewie in his chair, and it's Chewie.
Yeah.
Just something about that sense of normalcy and tradition made me really happy.
So John, I'm going to ask you the Cardington airship sheds. So this is the first location, most likely. Do you think the Falcon is in the Cardington airship sheds so that they can try to keep it secret so that nobody knows that the Wait, hold on. That doesn't make sense. JJ puts an image. Hey, it's the first day of shooting. Here's the Falcon. Yeah. Now,
right.
But we did talk about that in the past, that the Cardington airship sheds could be used to maybe keep some information private. And we also talked about numerous occasions how many times people have said, oh, well, there's the Falcon, because you can just look at a satellite photo. But it's funny because the very first image we ever get of this movie is of the Falcon. So it's not like they're trying to keep anything hidden. And it's not like we didn't know that was going to be in the movie. What do you think? Cardington airship sheds?
Yeah, so if Victoria Mahoney posted that, I mean, let's remember she's second unit director, so she could be doing second unit type shots at Cardington while JJ and the first unit's at Pinewood.
Oh, it's a good point. Yep.
And they're calling each other on their Nokias like, "Can you hear me now? All right.
Good.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? JJ?" And, that kind of thing. And maybe their Falcon is in the Cardington airship shed. Like, why not? Because, like we said, they blew up all those photos of it outside the sheds during TFA. Maybe they learned their lesson and put them inside and closed the doors. Or they're doing completely other types of second unit based shots there. And JJ's on Pinewood with the Falcon. And that's my main guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, I agree with that. I think we could probably wrap up on that story. Do you guys want to talk about who's going to be in this movie?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the cast has been announced, including the return of Carrie Fisher using previously unused footage from The Force Awakens, and now we know previously unused footage from The Last Jedi, thanks Clayton Sandell. Showing up in the cast, though, we have Daisy Ridley returning, Adam Driver, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Mark Hamill, Anthony Daniels, Lupita Nyong'o, Domhnall Gleeson, Kelly Marie Tran, Jonas Suotamo.
It's just Suotamo.
Jonas Suotamo, Billy Lord, and Billy D. Williams, all returning. Man, that's so crazy. We also have new actress Naomi Ackie coming in, and new actor Richard E. Grant from Game of Thrones and Logan. You might recognize him from that. What's funny about this big announcement that they did with all these new cast members is that shortly after, a couple hours later, you might remember, they threw in Carrie Russell. Oh, yeah, and also Carrie Russell.
My girl.
So there was a short period of time where everybody was like, whoa, that was like one person we were very confident on, and they're clearly not in the movie. And then they were like, oh, yeah, well, she is. John, just to bounce off of that, I would think she has to be shooting later in the film process, considering they just finally confirmed her 1 week before the movie starts shooting. Do you think that points to her not really having a big role, or just kind of a late shooting schedule? What do you think?
I don't know, because is that show The American still on? Like, nope. I don't know what.
Nope, it just wrapped.
And all due respect to Carrie Russell, I mean, she's not The Rock, where she's in like 12 things a year. So she may have been like, her agent may have been like, look, we're putting feelers out for other projects, but this thing looks like it may happen, so we're not going to book you for this time, because if we do land it, this is huge for you. So, I mean, I don't think this has anything to do with her, whether she has a big role or small role. That's just my take. I mean, I'm no industry insider, but Carrie Russell doesn't seem... And she's a wonderful talent, but she's not, Julia Roberts nailing down $20 million role pictures here. So this is a big deal for her.
Yeah.
And with that said, though, I want to go back to what we were saying. What was it last week? And we were talking about what type of role she may have and that sort of thing. And I guess we can get deeper into that later. But I do want to dig into all this other casting stuff. And oddly, I have to say, I don't know why, I'm like a little upset that Benicio del Toro is not on that cast list. Because
I'm not.
I feel well, James and I anyway, maybe we just like he's become like a part of the subculture of our podcast because of the maybe thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And I wanted to see him again, maybe this time turn on the First Order and kind of do his own version of Balance. But maybe we will. Maybe we won't see him again. But I want to dig into more of this with you guys. But what's your take on this stuff?
But right off for me, Kelly Marie Tran, boom, front and center.
Yeah.
Not afraid to say that she's going to be back in the movie. And the way they list her and the way they make it seem is that it doesn't seem at all like she's going to be hidden away in the background in one scene or something like that. Same for Billie Lourd. We had speculated, do you think she's going to have a bigger role in this? I think by putting her in the casting, that's a way of also saying like, we've got a little bit larger plans than we did in the other two movies.
No Phasma.
No Phasma. I didn't even realize that until right when you said that.
I didn't think about that. That's a
We
good point.
discussed that last week. That we were like, well, will she, won't she? And I was like, no, she's dead. Will of the Force? Yeah,
for sure.
She's dead.
Yeah,
I think we all agreed.
I think we all said she's toast.
She's dead, but it would be really interesting if that was the vibe of the general fandom. And then sure enough, there we go. There's her name. And, that's like, okay. Anything else you spot, Lacey? Any cool little tidbits?
No, I mean, the coolest thing is obviously the second African-American actress is going to be in Star Wars. This is a big deal, guys. And John Boyega put up a really, really awesome post of him welcoming her to the bigger world, You're taking your steps into a larger world, just like he did with Kelly Marie Tran. So that's really, really cool. I'm pumped about Kerry Russell, as you guys know. I really hope she's a bad guy. But yeah, no, this is exciting. As we talked about with Clayton, the emotion behind the Carrie Fisher stuff is really, really great. And it means a lot to me and everybody else. I don't want it to sound like just me, but that was the thing I was most excited about. And that's why she was trending when they announced this, is that it's a big deal that they made this work. So I'm interested to see where it goes. And I know I'll be sobbing. So that's where we are.
Well, as you were saying, to stem off of that a little bit, is you were saying with this announcement was the first time that we've got any sort of official, boom, Carrie Fisher is coming back. That's happening. And what's interesting is they told us how they're going to do it with the unused footage and all that. I will say, though, if you guys remember back in February, I believe, Todd Fisher actually came out and told everybody, that him and Billie Lourd have given Disney and Lucasfilm permission to use recent footage of the actress in the 2019 Star Wars Episode 9. Both of us, this is a quote, both of us were like, yes, how do you take her out of it? And the answer is you don't. After that statement came out, everybody was like, oh, so I guess they're going to use recent footage of her and kind of just add it in. And Kathleen Kennedy came out and kind of, I believe the quote was, Todd Fisher's confused. He's confused about what's going on. Don't listen to that. And kind of discredit him on this. And it's funny now because we hear this information. We're like, there it is. It's confirmed. Boom. And it is. It's more confirmed than hearing it from Todd. But it is funny that he told us this months ago, that this was happening.
Yeah. And then you add that to what Clayton revealed to us on our exclusive interview that we posted last Friday and on the episode this past Monday. Here I am plugging us away here.
Yeah, but, it's more than Force Awakens.
Yeah. So they're going to be using unused, deleted footage, whatever you want to call it, that was filmed by Rian Johnson for The Last Jedi as well. So that really opens up the possibilities more so than the narrow scenes that we thought they'd be using from The Force Awakens, like Lacey had brought up the Maz scene where handing the lightsaber was never used. You can do a lot more here, and who better than ILM and Skywalker Sound to make this happen? And I'm thinking about more and more. With that information, plus where we left off with Leia in The Last Jedi, she handed off the resistance to Poe Dameron. She said, what are you asking me for? Follow him. And it's kind of like handing over the keys, which opens up the door for Leia to pursue more of a personal thing in episode 9, which is Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. So,
well, I don't know if you remember this. Early on with The Last Jedi, rumors were going around that there was a scene with him and her talking to each other.
Yes,
now, we ultimately saw that it was them connecting via the Force in the ships, but there were rumors going around that they shot scenes together. And then when she passed away, that came to light that they shot scenes. So who knows, you know?
So my rabbit hole, and whether you guys want to kick dirt on my rabbit hole or follow me down it, is she's handing off the business side of Leia over to Poe, and she's going on her personal journey, which right now has her saying, my son is gone, and I have to accept that. So where does that take her with her personal journey with Ben and Kylo Ren? We kind of feel like there's something missing there that we didn't think we'd get with Carrie Fisher dying, that we may have an opportunity now, which is him and her facing one like face to face somehow. I feel like we kind of need that. And at this point, now that we have all this new TLJ stuff added in and big surprises was the quote that Todd Fisher gave Clayton, we may get it now.
Well, one thing, I'm not subscribing to this, but I'm going to hear your theory out. She says he's gone, and Luke responds, no one's ever really gone.
If we've talked about this.
I know, but
he's back.
No. You guys are jumping the gun on me here. So now with that being the thing, she was saying he's gone, and Luke's confirming that no one's ever really truly lost. No one ever really truly falls. And she takes those words and she goes, all right, well then I'm going to go try to win him back. Maybe in episode 9, she tries to win him back and succeeds. And that is how, or I don't know, maybe fails. Maybe
but
we
James,
see.
that's not how I took that.
Welcome. We have cookies.
This is why I started this with,
to be on.
Yeah. That's why I started this with, I'm not necessarily subscribing to this, but
take a big sip of the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. I think it's one. I think it's one thing for Luke and his whole story of like, I thought nobody could be saved. He was too far gone, and he had to remember that no one really truly is gone. So I don't know. Maybe that inspires Leia to go on this personal journey. She hands the reins over to Poe. She goes on her personal journey. We get those scenes of her interacting with Kylo. I don't know. It could be kind of interesting, but
it depends on how you define that. Because I know we've talked about that quote on a discussion on the podcast where I think most of us took that as no one's ever really gone, and he hands her Han's dice saying like the memory's always there. So she'll always have the memory of Ben Solo. So he's never gone in that regard. That's how I
took
always
it differently
took that
than
line.
you guys. I took it the way James is saying it.
I mean,
of course you did.
There's a thousand ways. So I mean, like, okay, we've talked about the memory of Han. We're now saying it could mean the fall of Ben to the dark side. We've even mentioned last week's discussion that line specifically could have possibly meant Luke is not gone in episode 8, and he will make his return in episode 9. It's just kind of a pre-set-up
what
joke.
What a good writer that Rian Johnson
I know,
out to be, huh?
3 different things, meaning the same line means something to, and it perfectly means everything to all 3 of the big 3, the famous big 3.
But months ago when we talked about Carrie's death and how they would handle it, that was one of the discussions we had months ago. I don't remember when, but I remember it was months ago. But I had said that, it could be the thing that is his breaking point. His mother dying could be the point that makes him as in Kylo Ren, either go darker, John, go darker, or go to the light side. I mean, there's so many possibilities. I'm so excited now because there's so many ways they could take this now. Because before we were just kind of writing it off. We were like, oh, they're going to kill her in the opening crawl. She's not going to be a part of it. It's just going to be kind of like whatever. But now that they're like, oh no, we have all this footage and we're going to figure it out. There's so many things they could do that I'm just like, oh my God, there's so many ways that we could maybe get the thing that I want.
We watch episode 9 and we're like, there was too much Leia in that movie.
Yeah. I want to move on to the Scoundrels rundown, but I do want to make one more little note here on the Todd Fisher and what his quotes were back in February, that it almost kind of confirms, double up on what Clayton was saying last Monday, that when Todd Fisher says they gave Disney and Lucasfilm permission to use recent footage of the actress, meaning, that could mean recent is vague, could mean Force Awakens, but when you say the word recent, you think the most recent footage. And that really sets up this whole dialogue for the recent footage he's talking about, his footage from Last Jedi. So it's great.
And also his quote was big surprises.
Yes. Yeah.
And that fans would be happy was along the lines, right? It was like fans would be satisfied or very happy.
Which makes me think Leia's not dying now, but we can talk more about that.
Oh my God, that makes me so happy.
We have a year and like 5 months to tackle this. I can't wait.
I'm already going to cry if Kylo dies. Can we not have Leia die too? Like, I'm literally just going to like have a stroke.
Well, that being said, there's still a little bit more to talk about on Todd Fisher this week, but we don't want to spend too much time talking about it, so we're going to send it over to the Scoundrels Rundown.
Thanks, James. And to kick off this rundown, I have to like almost jokingly say like we didn't talk about Billy D. Williams once in that cast listing because we were so like we were all so convinced that it was happening that we're just like, yeah, and then Mark Hamill, Billy D. Williams, Kelly Marie Tran. Yeah. Just like now we're just glossing over it. We're like, now that Lando's back, it's like, okay, yeah.
Because we've talked about it so much and we just knew. It was like so obvious it was happening. Yeah.
Listeners, if you haven't heard, go back like 2 weeks. We had full like multiple weeks of discussions of what his role's going to be in the movie and stuff. So
it's all we could talk about.
Yep.
And you'll never hear us talking about Colt 45.
I knew you're bringing it up. You
just brought
now.
it up, dude.
Yeah.
You're the one that keeps bringing it up.
It's your own problem.
Well, Lacey's going to bleep out Colt 45 as though it's a curse.
No, I'm not.
So
I'm letting you take credit every time you bring it up.
All right, Chewie, punch it. Okay, so James, Todd Fisher has had a lot to say. Not to beat the dead horse here, but including what we were told last week from Clayton, he went on to credit J.J. Abrams as to why Carrie is coming back for Episode 9, kind of saying that J.J. is the reason it's happening, and a lot of that could have to do with the fact that J.J. Abrams found only one way to tell this story, and that was by using Carrie Fisher as Leia. And for a PR sake, for Bad Robot and J.J. Abrams, you have to kind of agree with that because, as we joked about, seeing Leia roll up in Episode 9 and it's Meryl Streep would not make any fans happy, let alone fanboys. Now, moving on to the animated side, Star Wars Resistance is being produced at Polygon Pictures, and I believe this kind of confirms, and James, I may bring you in here real quick, that this is going to be 3D based animation, I guess is what they're kind of pointing us to for this show.
Gosh, I really don't have a good answer for you, but I do know that there are big movements in animation these days. Like for instance, if you need something to pull from, like the Peanuts movie, that was 3D animation that made it look like it was 2D animation, so you can still get a 2D animated anime style, which is what they're going for, while still using 3D animation. So, and it could really end up being a lot cheaper and a lot easier to produce that way. So that all lines up.
All right, we should have a trailer on that soon because, as we've heard, that should be debuting in the U.S. around the first or second week of October. Mm-hmm. The series on Disney XD, is that right, guys?
Yep.
October 13th is the German release.
Right, and I heard possibly a week before in the U.S. So keep your eyes out for a trailer on that bad boy. And the other end of the spectrum for animation is Star Wars Rebels, which is over. You can now get Season 4. It's available on Blu-ray or digital, so go grab the final season. I've heard there's a lot of great featurettes, including a lot of in-depth discussions with Dave Filoni about the Force and lore. So if you're a real Force lore hound and you worship the altar that Dave Filoni brings us, then by all means, pick that up for that alone. And that about wraps up our rundown. You can find all of the articles on all these stories and more at our website, StarWarsNewsNet.com. Now it's time to head to Resistance Transmissions this week. We want to hear what you guys had to say. So, Chewie, get us out of here.
So I feel like sad music should be playing right now because this is probably the worst resistance transmissions that I've ever had to do. And I feel like John did this on purpose to get me back for all the times that I've made soft boy comments. So he wrote, grab your popcorn, but I refuse to celebrate this resistance transmission. So if you guys didn't know...
Lacey, just call me a monster.
You're a monster.
Nice.
Yes,
Bringing
I
back
am.
the Ray quotes.
Okay. So he did this in caps, and I completely agree with this for once with John. He wrote completely hypothetical. This is completely hypothetical. Okay, so the resistance transmission was, let's say Kylo Ren, I can't even say it, Kylo Ren dies, oh god, in episode 9. What are his final words? First of all, how dare all of you enter this? Continue. First one is from our buddies at Black Series Rebels. They said, quote, thank you, mirroring Han's death, parenthesis, this was also John's answer, and Evan Harris at Harris Eve 9. How dare... Oh my god. Okay, this is painful. Okay, next is J Penn at JK Ren. You have K Ren in your name. JK Ren 25. And they said, quote, you are the light to my dark... Ooh, okay. You are the light to my darkness, parenthesis, touches her fingertips and looks deeply into her eyes. Parenthesis, I feel like I'm reading a book. Ooh. Into her eyes.
This is a bad romance novel, which is
I
proof
love it.
that
Give
this
me
stuff
all
is
the
not
romance.
gonna happen.
Okay. You'll never be alone again. Parenthesis, dies in her arms. The angst on this. By the way, it's August angst, if anybody wants to know. So this fits into that theme. Okay, continue.
There's no way the cover of that, whatever that book that came from, doesn't have Fabio on the cover of it with hair blowing in the wind.
But I love it. It's such a guilty pleasure, you know? You just want people to have that
I just died
moment.
in your arms tonight.
Oh, God.
Must have been something you said.
You shouldn't
I would
whisper it
die
like that.
if
It's
somebody
weird.
looked at me and touched my face and my fingertips and
I
said,
think,
you're the
you know,
light
to be
my
honest,
darkness.
I think to J Penn's defense, in the book and in the script for The Force Awakens, I'm pretty sure he does touch her face. And they actually didn't go through with it in the movie because it did look too creepy. I think that's what the story is. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure in the book he does touch her face. So,
and Lacey, also to J Penn's defense, read the dialogue again from Attack of the Clones between Anakin and Padme.
Yeah.
It is vomit worthy.
I would say, though,
so I'm guessing you don't like sand.
To his defense,
It's not even that part.
It
The part where they're in that with the fire,
the window,
the part where they're in the fireplace, and he's like, "When I'm with
part.
you, I can't breathe. Why'd you curse me with the kiss that you never should have given me?" It's like, oh man, George.
But
my
I
worst
love
part
it.
is when
I
they're in the
love it.
window and they're like, "Love is blind," all that stuff. That is just like,
brutal.
I'm like, what are you guys doing right now? Like, are you guys
Oh,
really
that's from
talking
Revenge
to
of the
each other?
Sith.
Oh, that is in
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
Okay, but
it's
don't
just-
tell me you've never said wonderfully cheesy romantic lines to your wives.
Never.
I did thank her the other day. She got me lobster mac and cheese.
Did you
And I
tell
loved
her
for that.
you are the light to my darkness? You'll never be alone again.
I will.
I'll tell her that.
I
yeah,
will
after the
say that
podcast.
to her. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
she will roll her eyes and then die.
The next, oh my god, what? Hello, I'm
All
calling
right,
the
what-
police.
What did Molly say?
So the next one's from Molly Damon from Star Wars Explained. Hi, Molly. And she said, "You will finish what I started." Ooh.
Ooh.
Molly went cryptic on us there.
She did. What is Ray
Who,
finishing?
Molly, who will finish it, Molly? Who?
Oh, she didn't
if
specify. This isn't just to
Bendemption-
Ray, right? This is just to anything?
Yeah.
If
Oh.
Bendemption is,
I love that Bendemption is like a thing we're saying on this
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah?
Not me.
then I like the idea of him saying, like, I'm going to do good. I'm going to fly my ship into the First Order thing and blow it up. But I need you to finish this fight. You know what I mean? You
Right,
will
to
finish
end
what
both
I
these
started.
sides,
Or something
that makes
like
sense.
that.
Next is Dan Larkin at DLarkin76, and he said, "There is another Sky Walker."
Yeah. Walker.
Poor Yoda.
P.S. This little cloak that I'm wearing is Qui-Gon Jinn's.
Next is Dorian Parks at Dorian Parks and Rec. I believe he's from Collider, right? It's Dorian from Collider.
This is my friend Dorian. I met him at
the
Global Press Conference.
I think his birthday's coming up, so happy birthday, Dorian, whenever it was. I think it was recently. He said, "Knock if you buck." Oh my gosh. Next is Heath at Heath D. Williams. Hey, Heath. And he said, "Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis?" I thought it was going to be a Zuvio.
Could you imagine?
Oh, Heath, come on. I was expecting Zuvio. It's all good.
I love
Still
these.
good. Okay.
I love these little memes though, like Kylo Ren looking into Rey's eyes and saying, "But what about the droid attack on the Wookiees?"
I could see, the Heath thing makes me laugh because I picture him like whispering that into her ear. Did you ever hear the tragedy?
Yeah.
Next. Okay, so next is Trash Buddha. What up, Trash? He said, "I know what I have to do. Stab self with lightsaber."
So John said his answer was one of the ones earlier, but this is the most John answer I've ever seen. I know
guys,
what I have to do.
reveal. I mean, I have an exclusive to reveal to you guys.
I'm just...
Can't wait for this.
I am Trash Buddha.
No, you're not.
No,
you're not.
Trash
Mike's
Buddha likes
listening to
me
this.
too
He's
much.
like, what? He's like, what the hell? ID theft.
Oh my god. Trash, you've been shunned.
Oh yeah, we found out his name. It's like Seinfeld. His name is Mike.
Well, how's that like Seinfeld?
Yeah, I was confused on that too. How is it?
Oh, because
like
they
Seinfeld?
didn't know what Kramer's first name was.
Oh, Cosmo.
Cosmo?
We found out it was Cosmo. Yeah.
Well, I still call him Trash, and Trash, you've been shunned until you apologize for this terrible transmission.
He said the reason why he picked that name is because he's a Buddhist and he gets hammered all the time.
Oh, we don't hammer you.
Oh, like
except that was a
oh.
terrible, terrible.
No, like
Not
he
like
drinks.
people make fun
Yeah,
of
he likes
him
to
for
drink.
being a Buddhist. He drinks a lot and gets hammered or trashed.
And he's a Buddhist.
Okay,
Oh,
gotcha.
what up, Trash? See you at Celebration.
Lacey's like, come hang out with me at Celebration.
What up? Although you got to apologize for what you just said. Okay, so JD Hart at Homo Cynical, cough, tell Hux, I hate him, cough. I actually like that one.
JD has Hux outliving Kylo Ren.
Nice.
I know, but I appreciate the last breath is still a jab at like, screw Hux.
Yeah. That's very like Team America or something like South Park.
Okay, and the last one, this has been severely painful, guys. Jeff Dillon at Dillon with Life said, "To be honest, I thought Rian Johnson handled Luke's character perfectly in The Last Jedi." That is my favorite comment that is made. I will, if that line is read in episode 9, I will accept his death. I will accept it.
That's the only time you allow breaking the fourth wall in a Star Wars movie.
Oh my God.
Like Kylo Ren goes full Deadpool.
And then
just
he
looks at the
pulls off
camera,
his mask, Mission Impossible style, and it's Deadpool.
and it's Rian Johnson.
Oh, it's Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson in a Deadpool mask.
And then he takes the stilts off because he's like 6 feet shorter than...
Yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. You know, Lacey, I was going to put about 10 more on there and make you go another...
My chest hurts from reading those. Guys,
Okay.
this is so painful. Well,
guess what? You did it.
If he doesn't die, y'all are in for quite the rant on Twitter. That how dare you?
But also, Lacey, if he does die, I wonder how many of those fans Star Wars loses.
Ooh.
Well, first of all, I would never leave Star Wars. I love Star Wars,
know.
and I think they'll handle it whether he dies or not. The way it will be perfect.
You know,
However,
some of
I'm
those
pretty
kids that
sure
are-
John will film my reaction of me sobbing, being like,
Yep.
"Why would you do this to me?"
That's when we'll launch our Patreon, and in order to watch that video, you have to become a tier 30 member, where you give us $1,000 a month.
Or like
Yeah.
when it gets to the end of the movie, what I don't know is John set up a camera shooting just to me, not to the screen.
That's our
Oh my God.
Dark Side Apprentice tier.
Yeah,
And it's not tier, it's TEAR, because the only thing on it is Lacey watching that part.
So per usual, I have a lot of questions for you guys. First one, how dare you?
Yeah.
And thank you for your transmissions. We really appreciate it, even though this was painful and I hate all of you. No, I don't really hate you. I'm just kidding, but kind of.
Mixed messages much?
Yeah. All right, so that about does it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, please subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. As you've seen now, our YouTube episodes are broken up by sections. As you saw last Friday, we posted our exclusive discussion about Carrie Fisher with Clayton Sandell to you. So make sure you're subscribed there, because if you're not, you may not know about that. Also, like I said, iTunes and SoundCloud. Rate us 5 stars on iTunes, please. We've gotten a lot from you guys lately, and it really does help us a lot, and it takes about 2 seconds. So all you iPhone, iTunes users out there, please help us out. Head to our store, tpublic.com/user/resistance broadcast. I know we read a lot of Kylo Ren dying stuff, but we have a lot of alive and well Kylo Ren designs over on our store, including the Supreme Leader t-shirt, which in a few months you can get, or you should get, on a hoodie, because it's going to get pretty chilly at least where we are anyway, right guys? Head to our website, StarWarsNewsNet.com, for all of your latest news, reviews, information, editorials, and more. You guys can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey, and writing and editing over at StarWarsNewsNet.com. James Baney, where can people reach you, man?
Always on Twitter and Instagram at Myra Trunks. And if you guys want to hit me up with your thoughts on this. If 4, 5, and 6 never came out, and the first Star Wars movies were 1, 2, and 3, but we knew that they were going to do a 4, 5, and 6, do you think heading into episode 3, people would be speculating on Padme's death? They'd be like, "Oh, I think she's going to die in this next one." They're like, "No, they're doing 4, 5, and 6. There's like a main character. They're not going to kill her off." It's just kind of an interesting thought.
They'd probably be like, "Well, I've heard in interviews that Natalie Portman hates these movies, and once her contract's done, she's leaving, so she'll probably die."
Yeah. She's supposed to go do an Aronofsky thing called Black Swan.
Yeah, all right.
Like 10
it's
years
going to be
later.
great for her career. Yeah, no, I know. I'm just messing.
Yeah. She's doing some movie where she shaves her head and there's a vendetta involved.
Yeah, there you
We're not
go.
sure exactly what it is, but
it's another comic
anyway,
book movie.
Lacey, who just recently survived a mini heart attack doing resistance transmissions, where can people reach you?
All I'm hearing in my head right now is, "Hello, darkness, my old friend."
Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
It's
People
time
can
to
find me on
stab myself
Twitter
again.
at Lacey Gillerin, where I will be talking about how Kylo Ren's the best character ever and he's alive and well, and that he'll live through episode 9, and that you're all so wrong and I hate everyone. And that's it.
Could you imagine
That's
if
all
I
I got.
ended the episodes like this? Talking about
What?
just crying over a character that I love so much.
I care about nothing more.
I mean, I love Kylo Ren too, but I care about the franchise more than the character.
Okay, but you agreed that if they do it well, then you'll be okay
No,
with
I
it.
agree. Yeah.
I trust
And
JJ. JJ, you to MVP. So is Todd Fisher. Todd Fisher's the real MVP right now.
I said Clayton Sandell's the real MVP.
Oh, yeah, I love Clayton. Clayton's the best, although he said Kyle's going to die too, so he's kind of like...
I said Jeff Dillon because, to be honest, I thought Rian Johnson handled Luke's character perfectly in The Last Jedi.
Yeah. We should put that on a t-shirt and say Kylo Ren and then Jeff Dillon.
Yeah.
Like the Michael Scott thing.
No, what we should do is make art of Kylo dead and then have a little...
A dead Kylo t-shirt?
with like a word bubble with like Rey holding him dead. And then it's saying, "To be honest, I thought Rian Johnson handled this." Oh my god.
I don't know if people would probably try to hack our TeePublic site and shut us down, but
No, they
anyway,
wouldn't. Everyone's for it right now. I'm dead inside.
thank you all so much for tuning in. Let us know what you think. Obviously, those resistance transmissions are going to be fired off every week, so next time we post them, write something because you may get on the show. Again, thank you all so much, and enjoy your weekends, and we'll catch up with you with a brand new episode on Monday morning, right here on the Resistance Broadcast. See you around, kids.